So hello fellow Earthlings, this is Earthling 6455463728, and I wanted to talk about some of the best non-traditional side hustles that somebody can use in order to make their life better. And it's an odd way to phrase it, right? To make your life better, because the whole purpose of a side hustle is, as far as I know, to earn extra money. Now, the thing about it is that I don't think that you necessarily have to earn extra money in order to call something a side hustle. The reason for that is that when you earn that extra money, you want to spend it on certain things. And if you can somehow find a way to get those other things without actually even having to work at all, then I think that's even the best thing, because you don't have to pay taxes on that money that you never spent. It could be that you don't have to pay the extra money, as in somebody else's profit, to make it worth their while for you to get that thing, product or service from them. So I see a lot of different things that people might not necessarily look at as a side hustle, as a side hustle. I'm not talking about stealing or fraud or anything along those lines. What I'm talking about is really examine what it is that you would be spending your money on, and if it is, in the grand scheme of things, the sleep that you lose, the effects that you would have on your health of having an extra job, of not spending as much time socializing, all these other things, are they worth it getting that side hustle? Or is it that some of these things that you want, you can find other ways to get them, or have other ways to make money? All right, so first off, one of the things that you could do is, quite simply, yourself. What is the condition of your body? Because if you aren't paying good attention, sooner or later, you're probably going to have to pay a bunch of hospital bills. And even if you have insurance, your insurance is going to go up. And even if your insurance, for some reason, doesn't go up, do you really want to spend however much time it takes to go through surgery or treatment for whatever thing it is that you might have in the future, because you're not paying attention to your health? And I'm serious about this. Your health is a side hustle. Do you want to look good? Do you want to go to the gym? How much money is that going to cost? Is that why you want a side hustle? The real ordinary understanding of a side hustle. Do you want that so you can pay for your gym memberships? Do you really need a gym membership in order to develop your body? Because for myself, I remember I got a copy of P90X, and I could do all of those exercises at home, and I didn't need a gym membership to see my abs, to get my physical fitness to improve, any of those things. So, however much money I could be spending at a gym, and, the side hustle that I would have to get in order to pay for that gym membership, it really was never necessary, because I can find calisthenics, I think that's what they call it, between push-ups, pull-ups, jumping jacks, jumping rope, squats, running around the park, any number of different exercises. I realized that I could look pretty darn good without having to spend money on a gym membership that many times people don't actually end up using. You realize that? A lot of times people spend good money on things and continue to spend good money on things every month that they don't actually end up using. The next thing that could be a side hustle is your diet. Do you spend a lot of money on lattes, on restaurants, on fast food even, on things like Blue Apron, etc.? Do you realize that when you go to a restaurant, more often than not, you're filling up on bread? Whether it is that you have to make a reservation, and then when you get there, your table might not be ready anyway, and you are spending time waiting for your waiter to come and take your order, and then for them to cook it, and then you're still waiting for them to bring it out, and then finally, and then you have to probably pay to park, you have to pay for gas to go to the restaurant. If you find that you're spending all of this money, and that's why you want a side hustle, or that's why you want to be wealthy, you're spending all of this money for what actual period of time spent eating? How much time is it that you actually spent eating out of all of the other time and energy that's spent preparing to go to the restaurant, reaching at the restaurant, parking, valet parking if necessary, and waiting for your food to come out? Is it really fun? Is it really worth it? They did a study of people and how satisfied they felt after having a really fantastic meal or not too tasty meal replacement, you could say. And they asked the people 2 hours after, hey, how do you feel now? And they couldn't differentiate between the people who had had this sumptuous meal and the people who had had the meal replacement in terms of the satisfaction now at this particular point after it was already in their stomachs. All of this stuff that we go for in terms of taste and flavor and all of that we run down, it's really just an encouragement for us to consume enough food and the right kind of foods in the past. Now it's really more of an addiction. I mean, even when you go to the grocery, do you realize the premium that you put on somebody having put sugar or extra butter into a particular product, and how much more money you spend on that particular product in order to taste that sugar, that butter, those extra things that you could have put in for yourself? And I understand that, someone might have a significant other who really would like to go out and spend this special time at a restaurant. But I think that there are probably a lot of other more exciting, interesting ways that the time could be spent. For example, you could just eat the food that's available for sale at many grocery stores. Many grocery stores have a buffet. You just go up to the counter, you pick out the food that you want, and there it is. You probably don't have to go and pay for parking. You probably don't have to go to some expensive restaurant and wait to get a table however many hours. And then when you're seated, wait for the person to take your order. And then wait for them to cook your food. Then wait for them to bring you the bill. Then on all this time, the meter is racking up. And then drive from that restaurant back to your house. And all of that time that was spent, and you could just go to your local grocery store and see what they have prepared for dinner that evening. And I'm sure if you want, there are more than one grocery stores that are out there that you can just get whatever food it is that you want. Another side hustle that I can think of is in terms of spending time probably looking for another job. So if you had another side hustle, let's say, what you'd be doing there is you'd be spending the time at that job, or if it's a home-based job, like some kind of a hobby or something, you would be spending time at that job trying to earn more money. And like I mentioned, they would be taking taxes out of that. They would be taking whatever deductions like Social Security and whatever else. You'd probably be spending money in order to go to that other job. In terms of transportation, there's the commute, of course. I guess that's the same thing. But what about you just spending that time that you would have spent working at that other job, just looking for the best position that you can get in your town or your area, doing exactly what you're already doing, but for more money? That could be an investment in yourself. Because it's one thing, you can ask for an increase in your pay, but it's really difficult oftentimes to get your boss to think that you are worth more than you were worth yesterday and in the future. It's usually a lot easier to just get a new person to pay you whatever it is that you feel like you deserve without any past history. It's usually a lot easier for that to happen without a lot of argument, a lot of begging, a lot of waiting. So why not invest in finding another position that just pays you better? Another reason that people often might want a side job or side hustle is because they have something that's broken and they need it fixed. Whether it's repairs around their house, whether it's their car, whatever it is, they might want money to do that. What the calculation came down to for me is that I needed my brakes fixed. And I thought to myself, I don't know of any other way that I can make the money to pay for my brakes right now. But what I can do is I can probably get the tools that I need, like a toolbox, and the necessary parts. I can get the book for my car, and I can devote that amount of time that I would have devoted to a side hustle to pay this person to do this for me, just trying to do it myself. And I could set aside that time. If it was 5 hours that I need to work to do that, 5 hours it is that I'm going to take in addition to the expense of the tools and whatever else, and do this thing myself. And at the end of it, I'll never really need to ask somebody to change my brakes again. I'll have a new skill and I won't need to do it. So one of the side hustles that you can have is to be your own repairman. Over the years, whether it is that, somebody came to the house to fix something and I just stood up next to them, asked them questions. What are you doing? What's that tool called? How long you been doing this? What is that thing that you're doing before? Is that really necessary? Oh, okay. And then when they leave, I try to do it for myself. And that's my side hustle. So I don't have to pay them 2 or 3 times the amount of money it would take me to earn in a day, to call them back and hope that they have enough time to come and fix it for me. That's my side hustle. So I've been postponing making this particular piece for a long time because I couldn't figure out a really good way to organize this whole thing. So I may revisit this topic a number of different times. But my overall point really is that oftentimes the best side hustle is you. You. Those are the best ones. If you want 100 side hustles, the best ones might be you multiplied by 100. I'll give you another example. Let's say you want some money because you want to get hair plugs, for example, because like Elon Musk, you feel that you look a lot better if you could just get these hair implants. Let's say that the procedure costs you, I don't know, $5,000. Let's say a hair piece might cost you, I don't know, $2,000. I'm not sure. But on the flip side, that amount of money that you need, do you really need that money in order to get that hair piece, in order to feel self-confident? The reason why I ask is, look at John Statham. He is clearly balding. He does not, in any one of his movies, seem like the type of person who seems to care that he is clearly balding. He looks attractive enough to be cast as the leading character in several movies, in spite of the fact that he is clearly balding in all of those movies. There seem to be pretty attractive women who are paired up with him in these movies, and he is clearly balding. Does he need to have hair plugs? Does he need to have a toupee? No. So, do you really need to have a side hustle in order to pay for that toupee? Probably not. And I say all this to say that some of the things that you think that you need money for, you probably don't. So some of these best side hustles might just be changing how you think, changing what you do, and how you treat yourself. And that's about it for now. So if you could give us a like, comment, share, or subscribe, that would be great. Especially if I could get you to think about this as if this were your piece that you just did. Peace.